Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So today I have my good friend Rick from the Joker Unleashed page. We're here to talk about The Faculty. We're going to be reviewing this movie scene by scene, and let's go on ahead. Let's do this. And hey, Rick, how are you?
I'm good, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. It's good to be able to have you on here talking about one of our favorite films, which is The Faculty. Um, I, but you know, how's things been going for you though?
Well, keeping busy as you know, I am a member of the faculty, so always busy.
That's always perfect for this type of movie.
Oh yeah.
So my question for you is like when so this is how we're gonna do it, guys. So basically, what we'll do is start off with like a nostalgia score about how we felt about this when we were younger, what 16-year-old John thought about it, or whatever. Maybe 17-year-old Rick, or I don't know. But
Yeah,
we're
about
gonna
there.
But we're gonna go on ahead. We're gonna tell you guys what we thought about it nostalgically, how we felt about it, best out of 10. Then we're gonna strip away that nostalgia, and that's not even gonna be a thing anymore. Because now we're gonna give you the modern day rating as far as this how we felt about it now as adults and looking back on it. So my question for you though is Rick, what would you give this movie nostalgically?
So back when I was a teenager, first saw it, I thought this was like one of the most fun, greatest alien movies of all time. And I was like, oh, this is definitely like probably 7 or 8 out of 10. Like I really enjoyed it, probably an 8. I really enjoyed it. I always recommended it to my friends. Was like, oh, you gotta check out this movie, The Faculty. It's so fun. And thinking back, like I hadn't seen this movie in solid 10 years until recently, and I still was remembering in those rose-tinted glasses, like, oh my God, like this movie's great. I remember being so fun. I still remember like specific scenes that would pop into my head when I think about the movie. And so yeah, it was definitely before the rewatch, I'd say an 8.
Mate, okay.
Loved it.
So I remember all my friends in junior high. I was in seventh grade when this movie came out. And all my friends were talking about this during PE time. It's like, look, you guys have to see The Faculty. It's a great movie. I never did it. I waited until Blockbuster I rented this on VHS.
I remember
And
Blockbuster.
I loved it. It was like I love this movie. I love the introduction to the characters. I love seeing how we're involved with these characters. You know what I mean? Like we get to see Elijah Wood for the very first time on the big screen and seeing his
I
name pop up.
totally forgot. I totally forgot he was even in this movie.
See,
When we went to go rewatch, I was like, oh my God, it's Frodo.
yeah, at a younger age, you know what I mean? But I just
So yeah.
remember just loving this movie. This movie actually represents us as kids and about how we're like, screw this system. We don't want to be told what the teachers are telling us to do. It's like us flipping the middle finger to the faculty and themselves. And that's the relatability for me is like we always thought that our teachers were aliens from another country, you know what I'm saying? From another planet. So then we actually have this movie, and I really loved it when I was a kid. I loved the opening scene. I also loved everything about this that represented who I was at that time. And even disturbing behaviors are also on my top list as well as far as horror movies go. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go with like an 8 out of 10 for this because of the fact that nostalgically, I love this. I love flipping off my teachers. I love saying "f you" to the system. And then as an adult, I'm like, yeah, there's some little cringy stuff within this movie
Oh,
itself. You know,
we all felt like Zeke on our first watch, and we rewatch it and we're like, oh, we're more like Cody.
exactly. That's exactly how we feel. We feel more like Cody is like, I don't want to adult no more. I don't want to do this no more. I just want to live my life and not be questioned about anything. Just leave me alone, you know? But
Oh yeah.
but yeah, nostalgically an 8 out of 10, hands down, one of my favorite movies.
Oh
So
yeah, that's great.
So now, guys, now that we actually talked about this nostalgically, now that we actually did that, now we're going to go ahead strip away the nostalgia by reviewing this with a modern day eye. So, high school is tough. You got homework, cafeteria mystery meat, and oh yeah, your teachers might be aliens. Welcome to the faculty, the only school where attendance is mandatory but survival is optional. Robert Rodriguez took 90s teen agonist, splashed it in with sci-fi horror, and gave us caffeine powder fuel masterpiece. You've got Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett, Jordana Brewster, and even Usher before the Super Bowl. What more could you ask for? So grab your pens, your alien repellent, and your nostalgia goggles, because today we're diving deep into the halls of Harrington High to find out what made the faculty one of the most underrated sci-fi horror gems of the 90s. So, scene one. One evening at Harrington High School in Ohio, a few teachers, the head football coach, and the principal leave after discussions about the school's budget. Having left her keys behind, Principal Drake returns to retrieve them. In her office, she is barred from leaving by Coach Wills, played by Robert Patrick, who becomes incredibly erratic, then impulsively stakes a pencil through her hand like John Wick, and Drake Facile slashes Wills with keys. Drake flees to the main school doors, only to find the handles chained up, and the drama teacher, Mrs. Olson, is outside. Unable to assist Drake, Wills is then ambushed by Drake hiding in a room. Smashing a jar on his head, seizes the key set, and grabs scissors for a weapon. Drake runs to the doors, then with Wills at her tail. Unable to immediately find the correct key, allows Wills to get up close and obstruct door closure. But Drake successfully closes the padlock. Olsen then consistently stabs Drake with the scissors with an emotionless face and reveals that Olsen is in cahoots with Wills. So let's just talk about this. I love the opening scene though before this, where we actually have the offspring playing. The kids aren't all right, which is actually perfect for this movie because of the fact the
Oh
kids
yeah.
is definitely not okay because of the stuff going on around them. I think it's just this movie knows its identity of its target audience to the point where they actually know where these teens actually know that this is for them. And I also like the fact that, the POV shot of someone walking up behind Coach Wills, then it cuts to the faculty meeting between the teachers and principal. I like that key moments of like not knowing what's about to happen or anything. Has that little mystery element of like what is really going on? How are these teachers being attacked? How are they going to be affected with this whole entire alien thing? But what did you think though?
So I always love it when there is, especially in horror and stuff like that, when someone is attacked and you don't see who it is, but you know that it's happening because it leaves you guessing. And so you know, all right, there's definitely somebody who's chasing and hunting them down. But who was the first one? Because you see the coach get attacked. You don't know who attacks the coach, but from that point onward, it is the coach is the one who's the one going after. He's the one who starts it really. And so he's the first one you see, but something infected him or something happened to him, was chasing him. And so that right from the get-go, you know that there's something else out there. And I love that because it's not really mentioned. You know that something there, and then of course you know like, oh, there's a queen, and you have to find the queen. You don't know who it is. I know I'm getting ahead of it, but
No,
but I do think that's great, and it is cheesy though a little bit at that part. I re remember because I rewatched it with my wife, and the whole like pencil stabbing and the reactions and all that stuff. I was like, oh man, this is a 90s horror movie for sure. Like
it definitely has
it
that
all came
'90s
flashing
cheese,
back. Yes,
right?
absolutely. And I didn't remember as much of the cheese in my nostalgia lenses of it though. I remember being like, "Oh, it's great," and then the cheesy stuff. I'm like, "Oh yeah, there is some cheesy parts that like I totally forgot even existed because like their facial expressions and stuff like, oh, I always wanted to do that when he stabs her and stuff like, oh, that's so
And then
why
it cuts
why
in,
just
right? Because we actually have two cold openings if you think about it. We have the cold opening with the coach flipping the tables
Mhm.
over which I think is way over the top, even for the coach, which is
Oh,
played by. I think that's a little too over the top, you know. But
it's
I actually,
small town football.
yeah, that's true because you know why though? I actually grew up in a small town, so I actually can relate to that because of the fact that we actually had a coach that dressed up to the nine, where he had the long tube socks, shorts, a newspaper, and coffee with a buzz cut. So
Wow.
yeah, so this is definitely my high school coach back in the
Stereotype.
day. But I just thought it was funny though that he's just so pissed off at this team, and then after that he goes in, and then you can see where where we actually have the faculty meeting, and then they're trying to cut budgets. This is like a very poor school
Oh
as
yeah.
well, because we actually see it like later on, like the AC unit's not working right. They have to use a window
No,
unit. Yeah,
the whole do not use sign. They're not getting new books, and being a teacher, that resonated with me quite a bit. Like, ah, man, the budgets, and always never having enough for the budget, and it's like, ah, yeah, that's not much has changed.
no. But you know what though? I definitely have to agree with you. The whole cheesiness of the fact that the pencil going through the principal's hand, and then she's just looking at it kind of blankly and screaming, and then she's running through the hallway, and then you have Robert Patrick running in there like T1000 all over
Oh
again.
yeah,
So, I thought at that time, I was like, oh, this is a great opening. And then I'm like, do we really need two cold openings in one movie? Because I think you kind of already gave us a little bit of a mystery element already to begin with, to the point where you don't need this cold opening again to hit us over the head that there's something going on with the teachers. You already attacked him already on the field. So the egg has already
right.
been planted. What do you think?
Um, I do think that, although I do think it does add to the story with the two different cold openings. Um, on the one end, you kind of get to see how the coach is before being infected, which is good. He's just an angry dude, and you can kind of see the difference. And then they do go the whole like he gets infected and then going after the teachers. Um, I do. I think it fits fine. Um, Mainly because it does add to the story. If it was like pointless and not necessary, I'm a even though there, yeah, you can do without it. If it really was pointless, then I think like, all right, you don't need it, but it does add a little bit extra. You know what I mean?
Right. I do get you.
But I mean, I'm
So
all for more horror movie, more for me. I'm happy. So,
I can see that. So now we're getting into the whole introduction of the characters. The following morning, the film's protagonist students are introduced. You have Casey Connor, played by Elijah Wood, a dedicated but perpetually harassed and routinely bullied photographer of the school newspaper, is the unappreciated assistant to despite Delilah Prophet, the paper's editor in chief and head cheerleader. Delilah's mistreated boyfriend Stan is contemplating quitting the school's football team to pursue more academic ambitions to Delilah's disapproval. Then we have Zeke, an intelligent yet lazy, rebellious student repeating the senior year, who sells, among other illegal items, a powdery ecstasy, the drug he manufactures and distributes, is confronted by Miss Elizabeth Brooke with the expression concern for him over his illegal activities. Naive transfer student from Atlanta, Georgia, Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson attempts to befriend self-styled outcast Stokes Mitchell, who has just deliberately spread rumors that she is a lesbian, even though she has a crush on Stan. Is a fan of science fiction novels. Mary Beth, on the other hand, develops a crush on Zeke while eating lunch on the football field. Casey notices a strange creature on the field. He takes it to the professor, played by John Stewart, where the specimen is examined and believed to be a new species of a culture pod, specific parasite called a mesosozin. Delilah takes Casey into the teacher's lounge and to find the story for the front page where they hide in a closet. They witness the coach and the drama teacher assault the school nurse, played by Selma Hayek, by forcing one of the creatures into her ear. They also find the body of Mr. Brummel, Susan Wills, Mrs. Brummel, sorry. Casey and Delilah flee, and Casey calls the police. Principal Drake claims nothing is wrong and that Casey is seeking attention. So let's talk about the introduction of the characters, though, because that's something that I really enjoyed, is getting to know the characters for the very first time. You actually get to see Casey's name pop up when he gets slugged in the face. Then after that, you see Stan. Then after that, you see another character. I also like how Zeke is inside the bathroom and goes, guaranteed to jack you up. And
Yeah.
you know what? Zeke kind of reminds me of myself, though, in high school, because of the fact that we used to sell video games, trade video games, burn CDs, sell stuff and gamble and stuff like that in our school. So this was kind of the stuff that we were doing. We are burning CDs for people, making money off the students and stuff like that. So he kind of reminds me of myself as a hustler trying to get by with making money off of other students. But what do you?
Bad boy.
Yep, entrepreneur right here. But what do you think, though?
I love that opening scene. A big thing that I love about it is getting to see how they're all from different cliques. They're like didn't start out as like a group of friends or anything like that. They're actually kind of like in the groups that you would say are the ones who like never interact or never get along. Like yeah, you do have uh the football captain and the head cheerleader dating, and like yeah, you can expect those two to be together. Then you have the outcasts who have uh Mary Bell. Mary Bell is
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth, sorry.
That's
Um,
okay.
and I know she's like the new student, but she's kind of also. I like how they did it through her as trying to like. That's how she meets everybody. Like we're also the new watchers. We don't know anybody, and she's the new student. And that's kind of like her looking around is kind of like how you're getting introduced to the different characters too. And I really like that. She's like looking at what's going on in the school, which is chaos, by the way. That school is an absolute zoo. There's people like smashing each other into light poles and stuff. I'm like, what is
Not
going
only
on in
that,
this
dude.
place?
Yeah, poor Casey got his ball smashed, but then with the
Yes,
student body carrying him and then smashing his balls into a light pole.
that's what I'm talking about. It's awful. There's like people running through the hallways punching each other. I'm like, this is pandemonium. Like, what kind of freaking school is this?
And then also too, man,
Yeah,
like you also have this couple fighting back and forth though too, as well,
it's just
inside the
absolute
car.
insanity. This is
Was
absolute
yours
insanity in that school.
It reminds me of my school though, in a small school and stuff, because I remember one time like I was just walking to my class, right? And out of nowhere, like there's a big line of people. Next thing you know, it this girl just gets jumped out of nowhere,
Ooh.
and this girl ends up bringing her all the way to the wall and starts just pulling hair and stuff like what the heck just happened? This just turned into like WWE in here. I'm just trying to get to class. I was just shocked that something like this happened during the time when everybody else was busy trying to get to class. But it's that relatability for me where I can actually say I've been in this jungle of this school, and it's kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
Guns N' Roses "Welcome to the Jungle."
And we
So
had
that's
fights, and
yeah,
we had the people, selling all something like that. So like, I mean, the nickname for my school was not a positive nickname. Um, but like, I feel like they took all of the years worth of chaos and dumped it into a 2-minute clip of high school in America. You know what I mean? They like
right,
put it all together. It's like, oh, this is all happening all the time. It's like, no, that's like happening, yes, but not all on the same day,
right.
not to
It's
that extent.
But I understand
Um,
why they have to do it. But at the same time, though, you're actually right about the fact that Mary Beth's actually the new girl, and we're being introduced to these characters just as she's being introduced to these new characters, and she's also witnessing things that she's never seen before. She says, "We never seen a kid getting his ball smashed up against a light pole, and everyone's getting their asses kicked all over the place." So it's something new to her that she hasn't seen before. And it's just small. I'm not going to make excuses, but it's like small town living kind of thing where you have all this chaos going around, and it's like, well, where are the adults? Why aren't they stopping any of this? But I like the fact that you have Stokely, who's actually in the know of everything because she reads science fiction novels. And I like the fact, just because she's gothic and stuff like that, it goes to show, to tell you not to judge a book by its cover. You know what I
That
mean?
was me in high
Because
school, man. I was the goth science fiction nerd all the
see, I was
way.
like Casey. I was like the Stephen King kid. So I was basically like Casey with a mix of Zeke as well. So I was like a little bit of both.
Oh, I had a good amount of Zeke in me. I was
Yeah.
in school suspension way more often than I would like to admit.
But
But
so what do you think these scenes still hold up? What do you think about these introductions as far as the
it's good.
as
It's
far as
good. I like the way that they portrayed it, like how I said before, of how you're being introduced to them. Also, the name on the screen helps a lot.
yeah,
Although I feel like it only flashed up there for like a millisecond before going off. But 'cause there are a lot of characters to remember, and you're kind of being rapid fired them. But I do like that it gives a little peek into what each one is dealing with, how they're all from different areas, and how they kind of are on opposite spectrums, like all the different cliques, different cliques of the school. But you know that their main character, that they're sort of gonna wind up together somehow eventually, and like seeing how that's all gonna play out.
exactly. And then we also have then we have Mary Beth, who's actually has a crush on Zeke because of the fact he was actually nice to her. So the whole entire time, all she's doing is making Google eyes at him. And then
He's
you
also the
have,
bad boy.
yeah, he's also the bad guy, a bad dude that everybody wants. But yeah, I think these scenes actually work pretty well. I think that just introducing us like a flash of their names works, you
Hmm.
know, because I think that if we're introduced to too many characters, it will lose everybody. But the fact that they establish these characters right off the bat, saying, "Hey, look, these are the characters that we're gonna let you follow, and this is their journey, and just enjoy the ride."
Oh yeah.
But what did you think of the fact that you have a young Salma Hayek in this movie? She's coughing. She's not feeling good. They're inside the faculty. We're inside the faculty lounge. The AC is not working. You have the coach over there just drinking water, looking out the window, and then you have um the teacher going,
The
"Well, it
one,
must be one
the
of those ritual
drinker.
things." Yeah. He's
Uh, yeah. It's I mean, it's a faculty lounge. They're all just hanging out. You can kind of see how. Is that all when the principal comes back in, or does she come back in later? Where it's later on that she comes in. Anyway,
yeah.
like I thought she was like straight up dead, and then until she pops back up, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I remember that because I didn't remember all the parts of the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, she's in it, but um. Just yeah, Teachers Lounge. There's just chaos. You know that everything's going to change, and I think they're specifically pointing out different aspects of the people's personalities so that you can see how they change as it goes on. I think that's the main reason for showing all that happening, the dynamics of the school, because I mean, it is the faculty. That's who the movie's about is them turning and the kids trying to survive. But I do think the main purpose of that scene is to kind of be like, these are their different personalities and quirks, and how that goes into after the alien invasion, how like you can see, oh, they're different, like obviously different. Like especially the guy, like I mentioned, with the drinking, and later on, uh, he's drinking the water instead. So stuff like that. Like, oh,
Right.
all right, like I remember that, like going back. All
Yeah.
that. I don't want to call it foreshadowing, but like things that you can look back on and be like, oh yeah, that's different now.
Let's see. But yeah, I do think that this actually works with us getting to know the faculty members to get their personalities because even when Stan comes in there goes, "Hey coach, I want to quit playing football." Okay, no big deal. He goes, "Wait,
Yeah.
what?" But before we
Meanwhile,
get to
we saw him
that,
flipping tables earlier.
right. Let's see here. Game Freakness says, "I love this movie." Then he also says, "I guess they're rebooting it. I might be wrong though." I think I heard that they were rebooting this faculty.
I'm all down for that. As long as it's done right, that's the whole thing, though. You know, as long as
Right. I
it's done
think
right.
I think you can do something with it, but it's gonna be hard to do. I think it's in development, but
Yeah,
there's not nothing's been announced yet.
yeah. As long as they keep true to the source, I can't stand it when they reboot a movie and might as well just slapped a whole different name on it. You know, like they put the name on it just to draw attention. Because I don't think this movie was very popular when it released, but I think it's more of like a cult classic.
Yeah, it's like a
'Cause
cult
I don't,
classic.
yeah, because I don't talk to a lot of people who do know about it. But it's the one that's always in the back of my mind. Um, when thinking about like 90s horror movies. But I'm for a reboot. I love a good reboot. Um, as long as it stays faithful. So
Same
I'm
here. And
for it. Don't mess it up, please.
I'm hoping that, they expand on a few things, but they keep what the faculty was mainly about and not try to change what it was. You know what I mean? Like, but you
Yeah.
have to make this generation care about the new set of characters and stuff and make it relatable to them because this is
This is a
about
very
this.
90s movie. It's a
Right,
very
exactly.
90s movie. And that's
But
not going to fly in 2025
no.
or
But
later.
what I want to say is this: you were talking mentioning the hold on one sec. Game Freakness says, like, how would you reboot the story in the same? I mean, if you've seen the old one, then you know what's gonna happen already. But I guess that's what they did with I know what you did last summer was a crappy remake of the same rehashed stuff. It was just copy and paste,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, let's go on ahead and make Freddie Prince Jr. the bad guy because that's what fans want. But I'm sorry, I gave spoilers, but it was stupid. I didn't like the trailer, any of the trailers that they gave. At least with Scream, it makes sense as to why they would want to remake it or continue on. But this, they ran. Come on, you have couple of teens that ran over a guy in the middle of the road because they were intoxicated, and and then that was the whole entire thing of the first one. And the second one, they go off to Hawaii or Bahamas. Then this other one, this remake, they decided, okay, let's just go ahead and do the copy and paste from what we did before. And instead, we'll just go ahead and do something a little bit different, but we won't change anything. But as for so how would we make it different?
So I mean, you would have different characters. Like you would try and vary it that way. Like like in this, you can't have like the southern sweet girl be the same. You can't do that. You can't have those same people. You would have to vary it. Maybe not have certain teachers or certain characters, and just try and keep them guessing, but still try and keep because I mean a big point of it is guessing who is and is not infected, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
as long as you keep that secret throughout the movie, then you can do a good job and still keep the theme of the water with the alien and the pods and the body snatcher type situation type stuff like that. So keep the theme the same and I even love the way the aliens look. I'm a huge fan of that. You can keep all that the same. I think that though having new characters, totally new names, all that stuff, and having different situations of putting them in would be would be fine as long as they stay true to the sources and like don't don't have it be something completely stupid about the new alien biology or something that's not in the first one or some like
I'm
that.
here.
As long as it stays true to the source, that keeps you guessing because you don't know any of these characters and you don't know by default who the main alien or whatever is would be a fun way to do it,
Let's see
where it's still
here.
the same movie but different way of doing it.
Game Freakness says like there won't be surprises in the reboot unless you haven't seen the old one yet, but because the surprise was the faculty was aliens, but now we know. To be honest with you, it was more the fact for me was we already knew, and even the previews, if you watched the trailers of the original, that there was going to be aliens taking over the faculty and stuff. The main mystery element was who was the alien
Yeah,
and how are they going to take this alien down because it's only going to be these group of kids that we're following. That's the main thing. So I would actually still keep it centered around maybe 4 or 5 kids. Keep that the same, and then you can also put it in a different school. Heck, you could even put it in a college,
yeah,
a community college or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a high school, but you can put it in like in a community college, having it in college football or any kind of sport kind of element, and still have the same kind of flavor that you have with the original faculty, but also keeping true to what these characters are and make it relatable to a new audience in 2025 because the way we think and act in the 90s is completely different than how kids act today in 2025. So you need to actually have a balance of let's make what's made the faculty great before and bring the parents in that grew up with the original faculty so that way they can show their kids the faculty. Then you also have the 2025 kids. Hey, Dad, what? Guess what? There's a new faculty movie out there. I want to see it. Okay, so therefore now you're dealing with nostalgia. You're dealing with this. You can mention certain things that happened 30 years ago or something, but you don't really need to have it in there. I don't like nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. If it's there to drive a point, then I'm all for it. But that's how I view my movies. I'd rather have nostalgia in there if it's going to drive there. But if it's just there for the sake of being there, it doesn't really have a driving force. I don't really. I tune it out.
yeah. As long as they don't change too much about the theme of like what makes it the meat of that movie what it is, then I'm fine with the reboot.
Same.
Like I said, different situations, different characters, but still have body snatching aliens that with the water obsession and don't go anything that wasn't done or is absolutely insane from the original to keep it in the same theme, then I'm for it.
Same.
Uh,
So
you gotta keep some of that cheesiness though. You gotta find a way. That's a
right.
fine line to walk.
But I definitely like the fact. I also like how Zeke also tells Drake. Principal Drake goes, "Oh, I got something cherry flavored. I got some condoms."
I think he said that to the teacher who's
Yeah, yeah.
the
The teacher. Yeah,
right. And I was like, and I remember, yeah, right, and I was thinking like, oh my God, like how are you not, like that is such harassment. I would be going right to the principal and be like, this student said this, and you need to know right now. But again, that's also like not movie me thinking about
right.
it. It's just the audacity of trying
It was
to
like
get away with that. That's so inappropriate.
it is, but at the same time, though, we always have that high school teacher that we always have a crush on. Like, and how many of us would want to like try to do what Zeke did and hit on her?
Oh, I mean, there's literally
No,
a Hot for Teacher. It's a song, it's a
right.
popular song for a reason.
But still, that
Um,
scene might not hold up, but that, and I
no.
definitely don't like that scene now. But back then, I'm like, I'm like, okay, you got some moves, Zeke. I'm impressed. But
Yeah,
now I'm like, nah,
when you're Zeke's age, when you're in high school, you aren't thinking of it as like the adult version where you're like, oh no, that is a huge no-no.
right. So let's talk about this. Okay, so I know we talked about the personalities of the teachers, and we also talked about when Stan goes over to the coach and wants to be off the team, and he's like, "Okay, well, I'm not going to stop you if that's what you want to do. I'm not going to stop you from growing your academic lessons." So Dan's like, okay, just walks off, doesn't question it. He's like, okay, so I must have caught him in a good mood. He must have got some that night. But still, then you also have during lunchtime, you have Elijah Wood's character Casey comes over there out on the football field. He sees one of those squid looking things. He takes it over to John Stewart. John Stewart is like, well, I think he might have picked up on something a little a new species or something, you know?
Um, my biggest criticism about that scene is how dumb do you have to be to put your hand in a tank of water with something that you've never seen before, like that. Even wearing the gloves, like first off, he put rubber gloves on and sunk his whole hand in there. There's water getting all those gloves, and that's not gonna stop any contamination. But like he gets bit on the finger by the alien, right? And it's like, dude, yeah, what did you expect? Like you have no idea how this thing is, especially seeing how freaky it got once you put it in the water. Like I would not be sticking my hand in that thing.
No, and then also too, it multiplied. You have two of them now.
Yeah,
It's the
nope.
atmosphere of the water changed, the temperature changed. I'm like, and you think that's a good idea
Let's
to do
poke him with a
this?
stick, except the stick is your finger. Like that's so dumb.
And then it multiply. It makes it. Then now it's there's two of them. It's kind of like remember the Gremlins? Whenever what's his name takes it over to the teacher, the high school teacher, he's like, I need to. I'm just going to keep it over here with me and study it. And
Oh man, I
same
haven't
thing
seen
with.
Gremlins in so long.
It kind of reminds me
I
of
love that
that though with
movie.
the teacher, but it
That's
just
another one I
reminds
gotta
me of
rewatch.
that. And the teacher's like, "Yeah, I have a couple of government friends that might be able to know what this is or something." I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's just alert the government now all of a sudden to get them involved."
Yeah,
You
that
know?
teacher was never seen. That person was never seen again.
No, this is exactly why Professor Furlong, played by John Stewart, will never ever get a job and why he died so quickly.
Oh yeah, no. No, he's the worst scientist. I mean, I know he's not a scientist, he's a science teacher, but still he's terrible at. He should not be involved in real science in any way, shape, or form.
But then
Um,
we have, yeah,
yeah, it's just I like how they have the alien like all dried out and then I love the tendrils that comes off of it. It's so cool. I love the alien design in this movie series so much. And I know it's like 90s CGI, which is but it's still kind of held up pretty well. I wouldn't say it's terrible CGI. I mean, it's very obvious, but I do think it actually did a not too terrible job for the time at least. Uh,
no, the alien thing
like
will
when
work
they put them
still. It's
on.
just that, yeah, the aliens CGI works. It's whenever they cut off the teacher's fingers that really doesn't hold up, and they turn into the.
Yeah, I don't know. I still like it.
But that's just me. But I also like how you have Stan over there taking a shower, and then you have the older
Oh
teacher comes
man.
in the shower. And I remember my brother being groused out by this. Like I didn't even have a chance to watch the movie yet. And my mom and I and everyone went shopping, and my older brother was over there watching it. And we come back, and it's that scene. He goes, "How could you watch something so
Oh,
disgusting and grotesque?" I'm like, "What
the
happened?"
the hair, the hair thing is what gets me. That part, and so I have no hair. So, um, and that's just one more reason for me to continue not having hair. Because that like skeeved me out so bad when he like put his hand through her hair and like peels off a huge chunk of her scalp. It was like, oh, gross, so gross.
But yeah, that scene grossed me out though. Now as an adult, I'm like, the whole entire scalp is gone. She's over there fragile. Clearly, there's something wrong with her, and yet,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, oh, we just sent her home. Really? The, we, I just called her
It,
up.
it,
She's fine. I'm like,
right.
did you though? Did
No, she's
right?
not fine. She's not fine. You should have also sent her to the hospital, not home. because you know her hair ripped out off of her head. Yeah, that was. I feel bad for Stan, man. That is some traumatic shit. I mean, he goes through way more traumatic shit later on, but that is
He
some
definitely
traumatic
does.
stuff there. Oh yeah,
And
but
then
yeah,
Casey's over
that's
there
that's
looking
shitty
at
things that
him
happen.
before that. He's like, "It sucks to be you." He goes, "You have no idea what I'm going through."
Oh yeah,
Because we only see, then you know what? That's just like us as kids, like looking at jocks, and the popularity is like, I wish I could be like that dude. But you don't know, have any clue of what he's going through or what he's about to witness now, because
yeah.
now you don't want to be like Stan because he just witnessed a whole thing you don't ever want to check out.
Oh no, no way.
So after
Um,
that happens, we have Delilah takes Casey into the teacher's lounge to find a story for the front page where they hide in the closet. They witness the coach and the drama assault the school nurse by forcing one of the creatures into her ear. They also find the body of Mrs. Brummel because remember they actually said that, oh, she went home for the day. She's fine. And then there she was inside the closet. Then Casey winds up um, pushing Coach Wills out of the way with a broom, and then he runs and gets the cops and gets his parents involved.
yeah. And then they infect the police, which is super messed up. Um, I I do feel like the teachers' lounge should be locked. Number
Right,
one. Uh, Number two. Definitely the I don't know how they. I know they bashed him in the stomach with the broom to get past him, but I mean, come on, dude. Like you're the football coach. Like you can't catch these two teenagers who poked you in the belly with a stick, and but that again, no, that's part of the '90s cheese a little bit too. At the same time, like there's so many little parts. I'm like, really, like, but it adds to the charm. At least it does. And I might be a little bit biased because I do like the movie, and I'm a '90s kid and all that. But it's fun. But also at the same time, it's like, dude, like you're the worst alien takeover guy ever when it comes to getting the main characters, which I
right.
guess is the point.
Because remember what he says to Casey. He goes, "Well, because remember he goes, son, I could use you on the team." He goes, "I don't believe in getting chased by running unless I'm being chased by someone." And
Yeah,
Casey's a photographer. So you mean to tell me that a kid that's not athletic bamboozled you
yeah,
completely
right,
because he's not athletic?
right.
Exactly. But yet he ended up pushing him down on the ground with a broomstick. And then he hurries up, gets the hell out of Dodge. Then brings his parents. Shooter McGavin comes in from Happy Gilmore because I forgot what his dad's real name is. So I'm just calling him Shooter McGavin, who has a kid. But I just don't believe that's not believable for me as a coach. I understand his cheese, but at the same time, this kid's not athletic and or anything. You could have at least grabbed him by the shirt or something.
Oh yeah,
But
that's one of the horror movie
right,
ridiculousness things that goes on now. That's a typical horror movie trope. Oh, if only my fingers weren't covered in this butter and grease, I would have had them.
but then you have but you also have the next day. Casey tells the others that he believes the teachers are being controlled by aliens and goes to show them the creatures he found, which is gone. When confronting Professor Furlong about the creature, he becomes defensive and attempts to infect them. Zeke cuts off Furlong's finger and then injects his homemade drugs into Floric's eye, seemingly by killing him. Also, too, I want to mention this: the people that Zeke sells to are that stupid asshole from that '70s show. You remember?
Is it?
Yeah, that's the same
The
dude.
the one who the one
Yeah,
um the one who got arrested?
yeah, that's him.
What?
He was in this movie for like a little short role.
I did not put that together. I did not notice that was him.
So I looked at my wife. I'm like, "Is that the douchebag from that '70s show?" She said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Whoa." I said,
That's
"Okay." So
funny.
basically, he's living the life that he was gonna have in this movie. Got it.
Living the dream, lived up to his dreams, I guess. At least one of his characters.
Right. But, I just think that I like how, Zeke is selling video VHS tapes. You have these other two guys that are just hooked to his product, wanting
What is
supply.
in that thing? I know it's
Well,
mostly caffeine, but what the hell is in that thing?
well, remember, he says household products to Mary Beth
Yeah,
or Stokely.
that's not cool. But I mean, it's whatever it is. Thank God he's making it, because it literally
Right.
burns that dude's freaking brain out pretty much. He stabbed him
But
in his
my,
eye.
my question is this: do you think that those two were actually aliens? The ones that he was selling to? Because remember, he goes, "Yeah, I want more. I want more of your stash. I want more of
Yes,
your."
oh, absolutely. I absolutely do think they were aliens.
At that time,
You got
though,
more? You got more in your car? I think
yeah.
at that time though, they're starting to slowly infect everybody. I
Mhm.
think more. I think probably a good quarter to half of the school is probably infected by that point. Um, and I think pretty much all the faculty is by that point when they're asking for trying to buy all of his stuff from him. Um,
Right.
but I don't remember exactly how soon after uh the science teacher being killed that is. Is that in the next? Is that right after that? I think when we're trying to like get away from the school because we start realizing stuff's weird.
That was like right
Or is that-
after.
Yeah. So
But
that's really when they finally join forces, though, is when and Stan's totally in disbelief that the alien's even real and all that stuff, which makes sense. I'm glad about because you got to have some skeptic. If someone came up to me, especially a student I don't know or a person I don't know, and was like, "Yeah, the aliens were taking over the faculty," I'd be like, "Yeah, all right, dude."
because remember, Stan doesn't believe any of this or anything like that either.
No.
Like the only ones that pretty much believes Casey is like Stokely.
Yeah, everyone else is extremely critical and does not believe him. I mean, it does help seeing the dead body in the closet does kind of but yeah, kind of once of course once his fingers get cut off and you see giant tentacle vein things come out of his fingers, then that, no more questions. There's an alien invasion.
Right.
Um,
And
I love how the fingers crawl away too. That's great.
that part just doesn't work for me for some reason. I guess because now that I own it on 4K, it's just not that threatening. So it's like I see and it goes really fast too. So you
Oh
can
yeah.
barely the CGI just sticks out a lot more than when it did whenever I first seen it as a kid. But
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
but I do feel like that, the teachers that scene kind of holds up still, especially whenever you see them put the drug inside the teacher's eye and then you see him shaking and stuff. So I do see that part still holds up for me as far as that goes.
Oh yeah. Uh, yeah, I like how like the foam comes out of the friggin' pen hole and the eye holes, stab point and all that stuff. And I do feel like though that there's definitely like the aliens do realize that that drug is dangerous, which is then why they try to buy all of it off of Zeke. Although I don't understand why they didn't like just try and steal it from him or try and get him alone or something like that, since there are so many of them infected now at that point.
My
But
thing is this:
I guess he was looking for something.
how would they know that that drug that it's actually affected that it can kill them, because there's no way of anybody knowing that killed them unless they feed off of that one entity of the teacher.
I feel like it's probably some kind of a hive mind thing. Would be my uh guess. Well, that is my theory. Is that some kind of hive mind? Especially with that one particular character also being the witness of it happening.
Mhm.
She may have like telekinetic it to the other ones, or they're just trying to double check their bases, make sure there's nothing that could outdo them. But I do think it's kind of either one of them saw it or there was some kind of a communication thing, like telepathically or some kind of, they're aliens, who knows?
Right.
Uh, but I do think that was intentional that they were trying to buy it all off of him because they knew it was dangerous.
Right. And you would think after he told them, hey, look, I have some in my car. And you would think that they would actually head over to his car and say, hey, look, come on, let's go. But I think it's
Yeah,
the fact that everybody knows that Zeke sells because it's a small school. So it's like, okay, there's no secret as to why they would want to go ahead and go off with them secretly,
right.
you know? So, but then after that, I like how everybody's looking around, looking at the school, and they're getting um, exams for their ears. And I like how Casey goes, so that requires cops to come in to check our ears. That doesn't make sense either. And then after that happens too, you also have that because now we have concern about Casey's suggestions that everyone at the school could potentially be infected. Zeke takes everyone he trusts to his house where he examines and experiments with Casey's specimen. He discovers that it needs water to survive and it can be killed by his drugs because it's therapeutic. Zeke makes everyone take some of his drug to prove they are human and uninfected. Delilah is revealed as an infected, and then she destroys Zeke's lab and most of his drug supply before escaping. This reminds me of The Thing, where they're taking. Did you ever see?
I
This
love The
has
Thing. It's
Thing
one of
vibe.
my all-time favorite horror movies. One of my all-time favorite horror movies.
It reminds me of The Thing so much because of the fact that you had that scene with Kurt Russell burning the blood to find out who's actually an
Hmm.
alien. But this time it's them storing that crap that Zeke made to find out if they're an alien or not. So you can definitely tell that they're actually taking layers from The Thing and making its own thing. If you think about it, this is pretty much The Thing, but also young adults for young adults to
I
be able to.
agree, and that does. And when I was saying before about how I liked like the creature attacks the coach, but you don't see who it is or what while I was saying to you, I was thinking back to the first part of The Thing where the first human is attacked and you see the shadow on the wall attack of like who the person is that's the thing that's attacking him. And John Carpenter for that scene purposely did not use any of the other cast or crew members for that shadow so that you couldn't guess who it was, but you knew someone was being attacked. It kind of goes back to that whole innocent alien invasion. I mean, with the thing, it is a kind of a body snatcher takeover thing too. So there's definitely a whole lot of parallels, and that might be a good reason as to why I like this movie so much, because The Thing is probably one of my top five favorite horror movies ever made. So.
Oh, I love The Thing. I actually reviewed that like twice on this channel because I did like a deep dive before. Then one of my other friends wanted to do one, so I did another deep dive with him. So we've done, and I also did a lot of facts and stuff like that for The Thing as well, like
Oh, it's a
trivia.
great movie. I'm a huge fan of practical effects too, and that
Me too.
is chef's kiss in practical effects. Perfect.
But yeah, acting
But
on Stokes' speculation, the killing of the Queen alien would revert everyone to normal. The group returns to school where their football team is playing a game infecting opposing players, believing Principal Drake to be the Queen. They isolate her in the gym and fatally shoot her. Stan goes outside to see if it worked, but he is infected by the coach. Zeke and Casey go to Zeke's car to retrieve more of Zeke's drugs. Casey leads the infected students away from Zeke, who encounters Miss Brooke, who in the parking lot seemingly kills her when he makes his escape. So the thing that I like about this scene is the fact that we actually get to see them play football. Unlike Shocker, Shocker talks about having a big football game that never even happens through the whole entire
yeah,
movie. This
and
one they actually
I like
show.
that. I like that they use the football game also as a means of spreading the aliens because
Me
it
too.
is a perfect breeding ground for that. And I love how it show how they also like show how it's happening. They don't just say like, oh, like this is the perfect breeding ground. You know, like they don't just say it, like they actually show the them infecting the other players and like and you can see it happening. Be like, oh, like that's brilliant. Like because they're gonna go back to their home town and they're going to infect everyone there and stuff like that. So I do think that was a really, really good way of doing it. I love the scene where Stan goes back out to meet to confront the players also.
I do
Uh
too.
and like you see the tendrils coming out of their face, like that is one of my favorite scenes in the whole friggin' movie. I just love how that looks.
Me
So
too, because
creepy.
at
And
first
then
it's
the
like,
lightning flashes and you see like the skeleton weird aliens thing under your skin. Oh, that like when I think of the faculty, that is the scene that pops into my head first.
see, I'm always the opposite. I think of the character names first before this, but I can see why though, because it is horrifying to see that. Because Stan's supposed to be this person that is the jock who is strong enough to actually handle himself, and therefore, you do need someone like him. So I do like the fact that he goes out there and then comes back, and then you see him trying to get Casey to open the door, and Zeke is over there too. He's like, "No, we're not letting you in until you do the drug." And so at first we're thinking, okay, Mel, maybe you know, what I'm saying, maybe he's actually telling the truth. Maybe the coach is after him. Maybe that's what's really going on. But no, he winds up taking the drug and unscrewing the bottom of it, and it falls down to the ground. The powder falls down to the ground, and we wind up finding out that Stan's in fact infected. And you see the scales on the lightning itself. I love that scene as well. I thought
I
that was really
love that.
horrifying to see that mystery element of the scales going through in his head and stuff. And that's what I liked about that. But also, too, I want to touch on this, though, because you were mentioning the football game. I love how violent the football game is. It's like they're playing NFL Blitz. And the
Yeah.
fact that because they're aliens, they don't know their own strength. So they're just knocking the crap out of other players to infect them. So my thing was this, like looking at this as an adult, I'm like, are they going to be in a coma and not know they're even an alien because they're supposed to be used as a
Oh my
weapon?
God.
Yeah,
Those every one of those players has a concussion. There's no way they don't. They are like bulldozing those
yeah.
people.
But I like the football scene. I definitely think that still works for me. Seeing Stan as being one of the affected still works for me as well. I definitely like that. Casey then returns to the gym where Mary Beth reveals herself to be the queen, having faked taking her test earlier. She attacks Stokes, who is stunned at the revelation. Casey and Stokes flee to the swimming pool where Stokes is injured and infected. Zeke and Casey go to the locker room where Mary Beth reverts to her human disguise naked. She explains that she is taking over Earth because her own planet is dying. Mary Beth transforms back to the Queen and resorts Zeke unconsciously by throwing him into a locker. Casey takes the drug and tricks the Queen into following him into the retracting bleachers, thus trapping her. Casey then stabs the drug into the Queen's eye to kill it. The Queen infects Casey with her dying breath, but Casey and Stokes return normal upon the Queen's death while Zeke revives. So, what I like about this scene, okay, is the fact that she's trying to make a case with Casey, where it's like, look, my planet was dried up. It we were on the verge of dying. So therefore we need the humans to be able to carry this virus so that way we can live on again. And then she's telling the story. She's naked. Then you also see the shadow of the whole entire
Yes.
alien. And I love it. It reminded me of Species, that horror movie
Oh,
that came out
oh,
in
it's
the
a
90s.
great movie too. Oh, I know Species.
I Yeah.
And Species too. Yes, absolutely. I do one of my you mentioned it before. One of my favorite another scene I love in that movie is when she's walking down the hallway and you see the tentacle shadows all coming off. I'm a huge like Lovecraft fan. I have a big like tentacle monster tattoo on me and everything. I'm like, ooh, that is very, very cool way of showing the creature within kind of thing. I also find it hilarious when Mary Beth and Stokes are trying to talk to Zeke when he first comes in. He's like, Mary Beth, why are you naked?
Right?
And I'm
Because
like, oh yeah.
he's listening to
It's
her.
like,
I like how he's like listening to her, dude. Like, he goes, uh-huh,
yeah.
interesting story. But why are you naked? But if you think about it, Josh Hartnett was kind of like, what's his name from Magic Mike? You know what I'm
I
talking
never
about,
saw
the
Magic
actor.
Mike.
No, I'm Channing
Oh,
Tatum.
yes,
Basically,
yes.
if you think about it, that was during that time where Josh Hartnett was basically the Channing Tatum of '98. He was actually the Channing Tatum of our
Yeah.
time, in a sense.
He was the only actor I even remembered was in the movie. I totally even forgot Elijah Wood is in it, like I said before, until he showed up. I'm like, oh my God. It was like, but he's the only character who I actually remembered like the actor's name for and everything in the movie before I saw rewatched it again.
See, I
And that
forgot
he
Salma
plays
Hayek
Zeke.
was even in this movie until I watched it. I'm like, wait, Salma Hayek is in this? But she's
There's
barely
a
in it
lot
though.
of pretty good named people. Yeah, but there's still a lot. It's a decent casting for sure, and they play their roles very well. Um, But yeah, I do like that scene at the end. I don't think she had to be naked, but then I remembered it was a 90s horror movie and that it's like an unwritten rule. If it's like 80s and 90s horror movies, that you gotta show some boobs. Um,
Well,
but
even then, it's like it's covered up by the darkness, so it doesn't really show anything. It just shows the.
uh,
But I like the fact that we're not even paying attention to the body parts. We're only concentrating on the dialogue, and we're also concentrating
yeah,
on the walls of the tentacles and stuff like that. So really, her nakedness doesn't really do anything for us, just as it doesn't do anything for Zeke, because he's also questioning why she's even naked.
yeah. I do like her story when she's trying to persuade Casey to join and be like, oh, look how peaceful everything is and everyone can be happy and stuff like that. And then when he's like, no, she's like, all right, fine. And then she just goes freaking brutal and transforms and starts destroying everything. It's like she tried, she figured out it didn't work, and now she's gonna just murder mode activated.
But what did you think of the
I
whole
like
entire
that
thing of
part.
trapping this queen under the bleachers? And
Oh, I think it's great.
I
Go
think it
ahead,
was
sorry.
perfect for as someone that's a photographer and a geek like Casey. It actually works in his favor. It's like, okay, what can I use against this thing? And he had to think of something on the wham. So I think for him to use that, it go. I think it actually works perfect for his character.
Oh,
You
I
know,
definitely
because
think it
he's
was very good planning.
yeah,
He's a geek. He's a smart guy, and he used his brain to you know win, and that's what they do, what us nerds do. And
right.
so I do think it did work out. It was a very good strategy. I feel like bleachers are supposed to have safety mechanisms in them, so they don't murder you if you're behind them. But I mean. It worked out not having a safety system in there because the world is saved. So good job, faulty maintenance.
Final Destination style, killing the alien.
Oh hell yeah,
But
that's what
I
was
think
really cooking
that
their planet.
I do like the way the alien looks back over at Casey though, and then Casey goes and stabs it in the eye, and then it spits out the slugs.
Oh yeah, like shotgun slug spewer. Oh man, that was great. It was all in his face. Ah,
But and then of course we have Stokes who turns back to normal, and Zeke gets revived. Then it's only a month later, everyone has returned to normal. Stan and Stokes begin dating. Zeke takes Stan's place in the football team, which doesn't make any sense, while Mrs. Brooke effectively watches him practice,
Yeah, that's creepy.
because that's normal. Casey begins dating Delilah and becomes a local hero. Professor Forlong is adjusting to life with reduced eyesight and fewer fingers.
Yep.
And you see,
I'm
I would
glad he
think,
lived.
yeah, me too, because I was thinking he was going to die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I
I
mean, I
mean,
think that
that
would
still
just preferred
sucks.
him. Yeah.
It still sucks that like now now he's missing an eye and fingers and all that, but like at least like he wasn't murdered by a bunch of high schoolers over something that he couldn't control. So
Right.
there's that. But um, I think it's a solid good ending. I love that movie. It's fun. It's cheesy. It's just a good uh sci-fi horror 90s alien invasion movie, I think, and I dig it.
I
I
enjoy
think it
it.
works out nice.
So did you like the whole thing where we actually have, you know, do you like the idea of Zeke playing football? Because in my eye, I'm like, okay, they're going with the Kurt Russell kind of character, and he's smoking a cigarette out on the field. I'm like, this just doesn't work because Zeke never once mentioned the
No,
fact that he likes football.
no, I don't think that. I don't like that part of it. Also, it's weird that I feel like Casey likes Stokes, and now Stokes is dating Zeke, and now Casey is dating uh
Yeah, Stokes is actually dating.
that
She's
oh
dating
Stan,
Stan.
right? Stan, right. I just feel like that was a loop. I was like, it wasn't. I thought, but I mean, whatever. As long as you're happy, I don't care. Date whoever you want. But but I just was like, oh, they're dating. I figured it would go the other way around
But
with
you know what
Casey
though?
dating Stokes. But
I'm glad it didn't go that way because of the fact of being paint by the numbers kind of deal. Because think of it like this, you'll be dating your own self, and it'll be kind of boring dating your own self as well. Because you want someone to actually be that you can actually be yourself with that's different than you. So I would feel
that's
like
true.
I would feel like that Casey and her would have too much in common to the point where it's like, okay, this is not what I want. You know?
That's true. That's a good point.
But
But
now that we
yeah,
just
I mean,
dissect,
they're all happy.
so now that we dissected this thing with the modern day eye, what do you give it?
I still give it an 8. It's a fun movie. I really enjoy it. When it ended, I was like, yeah, that's. I'm really happy that I rewatched it. It's because it's been a while since I saw it. Like again, it was like rose-tinted glasses. Um, like, and there's always the because I have rewatched horror movies from when I last seen when I was younger and been like, oh no, that's terrible. And this was one where I rewatched it and was like, I thoroughly enjoyed that rewatch. Like, yeah, there's some cheesy and corny parts to it, and yeah, like there's some parts where like Mary Beth could have killed those guys at like any point almost in some parts. Like I don't know why she didn't, but it's like still it's just a good movie, and I that's the whole point, right? Is you come out of it entertained in the end and being like, yeah, that was a good movie. So I still give it an
Exactly.
8. I really liked it.
I gave it like an 8.5 because I really
Oh,
thoroughly
it's
enjoyed
up.
this.
Nice.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this rewatch, like you mentioned. I actually bought this on 4K because I wasn't sure if it'll be streaming anywhere. So you know what? I'm like, I like this movie so much that I'm just gonna go
I
out there
owned
and
it
buy
on
it.
DVD. I still had it on DVD, and my I had to
I have
look
it
through
on
my DVD books
VHS.
to find it. Oh,
I got it on
snap.
VHS. Yeah, that's how old this movie is. So I didn't even have a chance to even own this on DVD. So for me to
That's
own this
funny.
movie, that goes to show you how much I really enjoy it. Same thing with Shocker. I bought Shocker on 4K, but
Yeah.
that's not even. But you know what though? It's actually streaming on Paramount Plus right now. You guys can go in and check it out on Paramount Plus. This is going to be like the last movie review that I do that was part of the Halloween thing that I was doing, even though I'm reviewing it. Welcome to Derry. But still, I had a great rewatch time rewatching this. I think it's really fun to just pop in and just be a kid again and just relive that
Oh,
that
yeah.
90s flavor.
Oh yeah, man. The 90s was a unique time period, and I do enjoy watching things because I'm a 90s baby also, so I enjoy 90s kid, so I enjoy watching things set back in that time period and be like, simpler
See,
times.
I actually was born in 85, so I actually grew up between the ending of the 80s to all the way to the last this decade and stuff. So, but yeah, I definitely had a great time watching this, guys. This is gonna be it as far as this review goes. I hope that everyone enjoyed this. Thank you, Game Freakness, for watching. Guys, check this out on the replay and stuff. Please go on ahead and check out our Welcome to Derry series. We're reviewing that every Monday at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So go on and check Rossie and I out on that. I have more announcements coming up later, and of course, Anastasia Elfman. I'm still editing that episode of Ghost Ship with her and I in it, reviewing that. So that's going to be out soon. But yeah, guys, I hope everyone has a great and safe night, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Thank you again, Rick.
Have a good one.